Now we're on. Now we're live and popping. So, I know you heard that, so I won't continue to go through. So, in continuing, and sorry for that, should have made sure I had the mic on. I've prepared my flour mixture. As I said, in here is for 3 loaves of bread, which is 6 cups of flour, 3 teaspoons of salt, a teaspoon per loaf, and I've also added 3 teaspoons of granulated white sugar in there. So I mixed all that around, just as you can see. I'm making a well. I don't know if you can see. Now that it's all mixed, making a well. Getting ready for my yeast mixture. In here, I also have 6 tablespoons of oil. And I'm just using vegetable oil, which will go also into this well once I pour my yeast in. So, how is life your way? Is it raining where you're at? I know I just rambled real quick. I hope you got those ingredients. So maybe what I will do is I'll go through them again. So remember, for my flour mixture, I prepared 6 cups of flour. That would be 2 cups if you were only making 1 loaf. I'm making 3. I also put 3 teaspoons of sugar. It would be sugar, and salt. It was 3 teaspoons. If it were just 1 loaf, it would be just 1 teaspoon of each. 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of sugar. I then mixed all of that around and made a well in my bowl. This is a really good bowl. I got this it's a Tupperware bowl. I inherited it from my niece who, gifted me with a whole bunch of brand new Tupperware. That's a story in another day, but this bowl, this kind of bowl, has been with me for years. And when I moved home, that was one of the bowls I left. And when I say home, I meant Windsor, Ontario. When I left Windsor, Ontario, in the parting of my things, this was one of them. It was one of the things that the universe returned back. So I'm very grateful for it because it's awesome for not only making bread, but if you're doing family gathering, I do my potato salads into it. So good for a big crew. And I do like to entertain in the summertime. Haven't done it in a minute, but this summer I'm embracing a whole bunch of new. So, and that means, we're definitely going to be gathering. I'm definitely going to be doing my outdoor fires, which I love. I think there's something about when you gather around the fire, it helps to neutralize the energy because we all going through something, or we all are, especially when you're coming together to release. And sometimes in that release, it can be intense, if you're with real people and you're allowing that to take place. And I only prefer real people. Can't come if you can't feel the vibe, and I'm not feeling your vibe. Just putting something in the garbage. So, the temperatures have changed around here, which is nice because I haven't had to keep a fire. Haven't opened up the windows too much because it was windy. Woo! Windy. Blowing change. Definitely, I can tell that we are in the midst of great change. I don't know what the weather was like where you're at, but here in Lakeele, yesterday, whoa, the wind was so powerful. It was like gusts of wind happening on intervals, and it was no let up. It was no let up. It happened through the evening, and then we got this rain. It rained somewhere late in the night, and it's continuing, which is nice because I call it birthing in something new and a cleansing going on all at the same time. And this will produce buds on the tree. Like, I'm just gonna show you. Let me just take this. See? That's what we're dealing with here in Lakille. Raindrops. Hmm. Raindrops are good. Soaking in the ground. Oh, look at the yeast, my good people. Look at the yeast. See? Does not take long. Get my hands ready. Put in the chat whether you make bread, whether you make your own bread or whether you go to the bakery and get your bread. I have made it a point since I moved back to Nova Scotia to do my own bread, especially knowing what they put in bread and well, God, knowing what they put in everything. You have to watch everything today, but that's the journey we're on. But for me, having grown up with homemade bread, it's funny. Growing up, yes, we appreciated it, but we didn't have that full appreciation because you thought that the baker's bread was better than your bread. And of course, age, wisdom, it's a thing, right? You age and you realize that everything that you thought wasn't of value, actually, you know what? Not only was it high value, a lot of that was priceless. It was priceless. Yeah. It's also what built you and sustained you. And wow. Life, life has a way of humbling us. Humbling us. Not to break us down, to refine us so that we can learn and appreciate from a deeper, higher level. Hopefully that's happening. If it's not happening, you're stuck. You're staying stuck. You're staying in some type of a mode that, probably not supposed to be in. And there's probably not a whole lot of growth coming with it. If you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm heating up my water because I'm going to be adding to my mixture 3 cups of water. Yes, I am. Yeah, I'm making sure I get all that in there. I want all that yeast. Now I'm adding my oil. Like I told you, just adding that in there. I love this station. Dash Radio. It's chill hip hop. Instrumental chill hip hop. Lofty vibe. I love my lofty music. Now I'm adding my 3 cups of water. Yes. 3 cups of water. And you might use milk. I don't. Milk was not flowing in my house like that growing up. What was flowing was water in different strokes for different folks. If you do milk, hey, do you, boo? Do you? It's whatever gets the job done, right? I'm going to take these off because they're going to get in a mess, and which means I got to wash my hands again. That's another thing. You got to make sure you have all that done because you got to get your hands in there. So that's the reason why I cup off my extra flour, which I'll be using. Because we're going to be needing what you'll have is a real sticky mixture. I don't know if you can see this, but I'm going to bring it to you. And we're going to have to knead all of that together. Can you see? That needs to be kneaded. In order to do that, that's where my extra flour is coming in. Fold it in toward me, flip, fold it in, flip, fold it in, flip. Flip. And I do this about 50 times. Or you just know. You really do. Now, I could be pausing the video right now, but I want to keep it going for right now because I want to let you know what your mixture is going to look like, right? So I want to get it kneaded in because we're going to let that set so it can rise. And I have a lid, which is another thing about this. Oh, I love. Because that lid allows the heat to stay inside. And of course, it's yeast. What does yeast do? Rise. I hope you can hear the music. It's so my vibe. It's so my vibe. You know? If you're like me, music, instrumental music, that's what I loved about smooth jazz. It didn't have to have words because the words just spoke themselves in every nuance of every strum or riff or yeah. That's where I believe music is the universal language. I think that that's where music is the healer, or it is with me. You know, some folk would migrate to the TV. Whew, I migrate to music every day, every day. And it's funny, if I do go through that moment of where, you know what, life becomes switched up some way and music, it's not a part of it, it starts to scream out, you need some music. You need that thing that relaxes your mind, puts you in that place of where you are just in elevation in terms of what you think and what you want and what you're drawn towards you. So very important. It's so very important because remember, everything is about frequency. So, also more the reason to watch what music you are entertaining at this point. Is it matching your vibe? Because I know for me, my music, even my music interest and all of that changed. I was of the hip hop era, you know, um, the originals, and I would make this statement. I was making this statement in my 40s, like, you know what? Hip hop will never die inside me, and I will never stop listening to hip hop. Well, I did because I don't know what happened to it, just like you. Don't know what happened to it, but I could no longer relate at all. Couldn't relate with the message. When it had a message that was, relevant to the time, then it got hijacked, as we know. But I think that this is more to the frequency. Yeah, this is more to the frequency. This is definitely more to my vibe. But where I'm at. And those of us that know, just know. I ain't got nothing to prove, but just listen to this. You feel that? Okay. This is our bread. Okay, wait. This is our bread. This is what your bread should look like. Now I'm going to take and lid that. And we are going to let that. Now you're looking at my backside. Just like that. There. Ta-da. And I am going to pause the video and we'll be back once it rises, okay? And then I'll tell you what it should look like. In the meantime, we'll see you once it rises. And then I'll be getting my pans ready. Before I go, what I should do, instead of doing that, what I'll do is I'll get my pans. Okay. Yeah, I will. Well, I'm going to get my pans, but maybe I'll start my water. Didn't want to do all that with all you guys, but I won't. I don't even want to touch my phone because it's filled with dough. Bread dough. So I'm going to get it off my hands, and then I'm going to pause the video, get my bread pans, and oil them, and get them ready for bread time. So, I don't know, I might even do rolls with one of the loaves, just to show you that that's what you can do, too, instead of buying your own loaves, or rolls. So I'm going to pause it, and we'll be back when it comes time to do the loaves. Okay, we're back. I now have my pans, and guess what? Oh no, I don't need to leave. I'm going to use this. I'm using just some lard to grease my pans. making sure they're nicely greased. See, that's my bread pan. Don't know whether you can see. And I guess these are large loaves. Large loaves. So, now that they're done, I'm going to take and do up my dishes because cleanup is a part of the process. So whilst I had you on pause, I ran my water for my dishes. Update too on my water situation. Last time I made bread, remember I told you I needed a pressure tank? Got the pressure tank put in. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Story in itself. Young man in the neighborhood, a beautiful spirit, answered the call and the challenge. And, he's one of those that he's a little bit of this and a little bit of that and a little bit of this. And all of that amounts to a gold mine, especially here in this area. So I've been encouraging that young man to turn this into a business because I watched the day that he changed the old one out and put the new one in. Uh, a man used a mechanical mind to talking himself through every process and seeing the problem, coming up with a solution. And even though it took that young man all day, it took him all day. When I tell you all day, I mean all day. His self-determination, very, very nice to see because few mishaps with flooding, but you know what? Well worth it because job well done. And thank you, JJ. Um, Anyways, so I now have water and water pressure because I didn't have no pressure. Now, we got an issue with my bathroom. I need new bathroom taps, but they're coming. They're coming. So I'll have my water back at my bathroom taps again. So you know what? Spirit is amazing, amazing, amazing. I also got my sink drains cleaned out. I was actually going to videotape that, and I thought, you know what? This is too freaking gross. My sister lived here before me, and you know what? Um, we didn't always see eye to eye on what should go down the sink, I guess, because, whew, what I cleaned out, my dear folks. I'll put it to you this way. Bacon fat is not supposed to go down the sink. Oh my goodness. And if you're doing that, stop. Anyways, we got it done. So you know what? Not to stay in the negative. And I challenged myself by doing it myself. And you know what? In all honesty, I was very proud of myself for doing so. But I'm not going to lie. When it came to the reassembling of it, I took it apart. And I did struggle with one part, so I did have to ask my nephew to come over. And that's being honest with you. But not to take away from what I did, because what it told me is there are other things, Hilda, that you can, branch out and try. All you can do is just try, right? So I got a little bit of something, something underneath my belt now, which I will do again. And that's what it's really about. I think that's the beauty and the challenge that's presented when you live alone. You you find yourself when faced with a challenge that okay, can't walk away from it. Yeah, you can call somebody, but that doesn't always work either because sometimes people just aren't available or they can't fix your problem. And the problem is still yours. And sometimes financially, you don't have the money to call Mr. Fix It. So if you're like me, you don't got Mr. Fix It money coming out your wazuzu. So you find solutions. So whether you want to be or not, you become a solution orientated person. And you learn that, everything does have a process and that, there's steps to the process. So, you know, point being is that there's tools and gifts that come from being on your own. That's not to say that, uh, I'm certainly not open that I'm not open to uh, being in union with someone, but I think that before you can be in union with someone, you have to be in union with yourself, and that is probably the biggest relationship challenge. So if you can get that down pat, I think that whomever you come in union with, you know, you'll be on fire together, especially if they got their together, right? Yeah, because you know what happens when they don't, and there's an imbalance. Whew, child. Mm-mm-mm. Not good. Yeah. You find yourself going back to the drawing board with self, and self is good. Self is good. This is where we learn. So if you have went through that change of where you know what, you find yourself now by yourself, and you know what, you are starting all over. And you know what? It's a feeling a little shaky, baby. I am here to tell you, you gonna be all right. Stand in your power. That this moment, I'm gonna tell you something, is not defining you. It is refining you. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I like it. Not defining you, but refining you. Whew. And once, mm, mm, you are refined. You are never the same person again. Everything you embrace, you embrace it from a different lens. But you gotta allow yourself, baby, to go through the fire because that's what it feels like right now. And sometimes that fire you're going through by yourself. That's there's reasons why you're going through it by yourself. Mm-hmm. It's to let you know what you can do, what you are really capable of. Seriously. So that you don't run behind someone else, keeping somebody in your space and in your energy that is not aligned with you, and nor you with them. Making decision to be with someone, you know what, because you know what, um, it makes everybody else happy. So if you have chosen you or you are choosing you today and you are standing in your power, 10 toes down, I hear you, I feel you, I am standing with you today. And we are all standing amongst you who have done that same journey. And I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna be all right. You're gonna be all right, especially if you feel a little unshaky, because hey, that's a part of the process, right? Yeah. And remember that you are a work in progress. So um, as you are going through the process, and hopefully there is progress because you are allowing yourself to go through the process and you are taking ownership. Ownership, that's important too. Got to take ownership, right? Because There, in every equation, there's usually, you know what, two. So, um, use that time of reflection for your highest good and for your higher learning, so that you know what, you can get closer to being on your path. So I am going to pause this again because I want to take a check on my bread and see where that's at, and we'll be back. Okay, I'm back. We're going to do a little check in on the bread. I don't think it's ready to go into pans yet, no, but it's rising. I just want to show you where it's at, remembering where it started from. So it's rising, folks. Don't know whether you can see it, but see, that has grown already in size. We are going to section that off into 3 loaves. Now, what I was thinking about doing, I normally do 1 loaf into 1 pan, but I was thinking about maybe doing 2 rolls into each pan, so that comes out that I can separate them, and that might work out better for me in terms of because it's only me, and I do put mine in the fridge because this is not like your bread in the store. It will go moldy. That's how you know you're eating good real bread. Okay. um, but it makes the best toast. It does. Yeah, I like toast and peanut butter. It it's one of those soothing staples, I guess. I don't like to eat too much bread though, especially right now. That's why I haven't made it in a long time. I am trying to get myself back into a healthier place for spring. I do this every year. I let myself go out of control. So that's something that I'm putting into the universe, that is a pattern of behavior that I'm releasing to the universe. That instead of it being a pattern of, you know what, fall comes, you know what, I get real relaxed. I'm going to start to make this a lifestyle change of every day. And there are things I want to incorporate into that, because one of the things I notice is that the older I get, I do need regular exercise, and maybe a little bit more than just walking. I'm thinking about doing chair yoga, chair Pilates. You know, I've been checking out a few different sites, and it's funny because I got myself a set of weights um, that I can use. So we'll see how that's good. We're not going to see how it's going to go. It's something I am incorporating because I need to build up my strength. It's something that, man, oh man, I get it built up, and then you know what? It's easy to lose it over the winter, because I go from being active, extremely active, to a place of real inactivity, and so that is something that I'd like to see change, because I want something more regular. I need it becomes a life. I'm going through a life change, and it's a good life change. A good life change. I think it's a place we all get to too. The older that you get, you start to really paying attention to um, what is most important. And when you start to do that whole reflective journey and start to take care of yourself from a mental standpoint, you realize that with that is the physical. So you've heard me talking about, you know what, quitting smoking and all of that. That is a part of that journey. And I don't know